Hello and welcome back to another episode of Transport Fever 2. In this episode, we're going to focus on getting some more goods to some of these cities so that we can increase the population, therefore increasing the amount of passenger demand in each city. And so the end goal, maybe in a couple episodes or so, is to start reworking our passenger lines so we can start to have larger loops connecting whole regions together instead of this sort of spread out network where there's lots of transfers between stations and switching of tracks and all that. Eventually the goal is to have the cities big enough where the passenger demand is large enough that we can have like one whole loop that services maybe this whole region, and then another one that services this region here, and then maybe down here's one. And then what we could do is figure out how to connect those loops, and this way it just makes the whole network much more efficient. There's a lot less track everywhere. It'll look cleaner, and everything will flow better. So that's what we're gonna start building up towards, and hopefully over the next few episodes we'll start to unlock faster, more efficient trains that are more built for that job. Right now I don't even think we really have many diesel engines unlocked, so we still don't really have trains that are too fast. But if we can just get ourselves ready for when that era comes, we'll be able to upgrade everything. So how we're going to do this in this episode is we're going to bring stone from this quarry up here, bring it over to this construction materials plant, where we can then truck it into the city of Akron. And that's pretty much the only city over here that needs construction materials. There's a lot of cities over here that need it, and we might look into increasing production here in maybe the next episode so that these cities can start growing more. But in this episode, we're just going to focus on this line here connecting the city of Akron to construction materials. So this line should be pretty straightforward, as we have the money to pretty much do whatever we want. So we'll place this station down right about here. And a lot of this line is going to be underground because we have to go through this huge mountain range and then through another small mountain here. But eventually that line will come in somewhere over here, right around here. And then we'll set up the truck stations, and that will take the construction materials and truck it right in the part of Akron that needs it most, which I think right there does it. So now let's get our track in for the stone line. Okay, it looks like we're going to want to split this up into multiple segments. So we'll do this big curve there, and then we're pretty much just going to have to go all the way through, find a point where it's not going to cause us many issues. So it looks like it's going to have to come out sort of along the hill of the mountain. We're gonna have to sort of follow the edge of the mountain till we get to the point where we can just go underground all the way over to the station. So let's see what this gives us. I don't necessarily know if this is what we want. This is a very tall bridge. Doesn't look too well. So I think we want to sort of go a bit farther up and then come down. So let's pull back these tracks just a little bit. Maybe right about there. And then we can start to pull it up a little bit. Like this. And then see what kind of track we would get connecting up to here. Yeah, so that's still not necessarily what we want. Maybe if we try working from this side, we get the nice bridge. Try to get it on solid ground. That's not terrible. That looks a little bit better than some of the alternatives that we had. And we'll go with it. It's a little bit of a roundabout way to get to the station over here, but I think it looks much better. So now we'll get the second track running along through here. We just need to break it off and then follow this all the way to the other station. So let's see if we can do all of this in one big chunk. No. So yeah, it looks like we're gonna have to do this in a couple different chunks to get this to work properly. And then right about here we can have it merge back together. If we can get it to cooperate. I don't know why getting it to do it on bridges is a little bit more of an issue. We'll just do that. Perfect. Now we'll just make sure that this placed correctly, which it looks like it did. And now we can come in, add all of our signals, and put in the train depot. So we'll be right back after I get done with these signals. Alright, so I got the signals and the train depot placed, and now we can start to build our train. So I really want to get a big train to work on this map. I know a lot of these are very expensive per year, but I just really like the look of the longer, bigger trains. So I'm going to come through here and see if we can put something together that sort of makes sense. It might not be the most cost efficient or make us the most money, but I want something that sort of looks nice and will carry a good amount of stone for us. Alright, so here's the train that we ended up going with. It is a 4A84 big boy with 14 of the gondola cars behind it to carry the stone. And this is really about as big as I could get it before we started to see major performance loss with this engine. And it's already gotten up to top speed, so we might just see how it handles the rest of the line, and we might be able to add a few more cars onto the end of this. And while we sort of wait for that, we can buy a few trucks to send the construction materials into Akron. So we'll go with these trucks because they can carry one more than these old ones, and they can carry specifically construction materials. So let's get 10 of those for now. They'll go from that truck stop to that truck stop in Akron. Alright, so I've been watching these trains go back and forth for a little bit, and they seem to be doing okay on the trips there, even when they're partially loaded. So I did add a few more cars to make them 20 cars long, and I really like how these trains look. I think they look really good. I think the length of them is pretty much spot on. You know, it looks like a normal train. So hopefully this works out for us in the end once the stone starts really coming through, but we'll just have to sort of come back and evaluate that later on. Alright, so while we let that construction materials line start to sort itself out, I wanted to come over here and do a few small upgrades. Some things I noticed sort of in this area. The first thing is we just have a ton of people waiting here at the Durham train station, and these trains that we have running on these lines are doing pretty good. You can see they're really good for their cost. So I think what I want to do is just simply add a few more of these trains to this line. So maybe we can get 2 more, and we can release them onto that line there. And now hopefully they'll space themselves out. This line isn't too long, so I don't think we really have to do it ourselves, but they should sort of do it on their own. And we'll see if that sorts out this problem here. Another thing I noticed is we have a lot more stone waiting here at this dock. So I think what we want to do is come in here and maybe just replace these vehicles. We can see what kind of new materials we have, or new vehicles we have. We have these towboats, which seem like a pretty good option. I think they're not quite the fastest, but they can definitely carry the most. And so I think we might go with these. They're not quite as fast as 20-mile-an-hour one, but they carry almost twice as much. So we'll replace all of them with those boats. And I think we will also just add 1 more to this line. And we should start to see this number go down. And now, obviously, since we've increased the amount of stone coming in here, we're going to need to upgrade this train. It already sort of has some stuff waiting. And Durham seems to be getting a lot still, actually. So maybe we could see if we could run our own truck line that would connect up over here to Arlington and send construction materials over there. Yeah, let's do that. So we're gonna want to get one of these roads. At some point we want to split off. I think, yeah, down here at this intersection, we can get it to do it properly. You get a nicer looking bridge. Get it so it doesn't block the river too much. Just like that. And then we can figure out how to connect it up to this road over here. There we go. I think that's good. Doesn't seem like trucks really have an issue anymore with speed going up really steep hills. And this one's a little rough, but I think this one's fine. We'll come through and upgrade this road as much as we can. Let's upgrade this side. Looks like we might have to move this train station in the future so we can upgrade that road there. Actually, we can get that. It's just a tiny road like that. And now we can get some trucks on that line. I don't know where the truck depot is that we got these trucks from. I guess we got them from all the way over here. So we want these construction materials. We'll get 14 of those, sounds good. And we'll bring them from here. And actually we need to place down a unload stop right about here. Doesn't seem like it requires too many construction materials yet, but hopefully as we grow it, it'll start to get a little bit bigger. So now we can select all of these, create a new line that goes from here over to Arlington. Alright, and the last thing we're going to do while we're sort of on the topic of upgrading roads is we're going to go through and upgrade this road here into Akron, just so these trucks can be running at full speed. So now let's take a look at these trains. It looks like they're slowly starting to carry more stone. We have about 60 waiting here right now. I would love for this to upgrade at some point, just so we can really start to get as much stone as possible out of here. Because these can probably pull a maximum of 240, 260 stone. And the construction material plant keeps running out of stone, so hopefully that increases demand. And if we look here, we can see we are starting to provide more of the construction materials that it needs. So now we should start to see the population of Akron really start to skyrocket. I think the only thing it doesn't have yet is fuel, which we'll probably get to in a few more episodes. I don't really know when that's going to happen because we don't have a fuel plant near here. But that's going to be all for this episode. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If you have any comments or suggestions, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching and have a great day.